So this video is going to be all about the new Weapons Plus system that's currently inside Battlefield 2042. We're going to be going over what is the best class setups for each and individual weapon that's currently in the game, and we're also going to be telling you what weapon to use. If you enjoy weapon stat breakdowns and weapon comparisons for Battlefield 2042, don't forget to sub to the channel, as that is what we will be covering when the full game launches. Also, click the link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel, where we'll be posting extra gameplay content over there as well. But now let's get on into the video. So when it comes to the PBX-45, the best class setup for this weapon right here is actually going to be this build right here. So you're going to want to use the factory barrel, which is the one that it starts off with, and this is going to give you a good balance between firepower and accuracy. You do want to use the K8 hollow sight, because the optics don't really change much to do with the handling of your weapon or anything like that, so you definitely want to take one because it will be cleaner than using the iron sights themselves. Then when it comes to the grip, you do want to use the Cobra grip, and that is because it will actually help you with accuracy, so you do want to choose the Cobra grip. And then lastly, when it comes to magazine attachments, this is actually probably one of the main ones you need to decide for yourself, really. If you choose the initial mags, that's going to give you more ammo capacity, but it has less firepower, meaning it does less damage. But if you go for the higher firepower option, you get 20 bullets in a mag, or 21 bullets in a mag, and then that's going to give you more damage. So I think in this case, I would personally go for the lower bullets but the higher damage, especially because it is an SMG. Most of your gunfights will be close range. You should be landing more of your shots anyway. And that is the best class setup, or the best attachment setup for the PBX-45. The next weapon we have is the M5A3. Now for the class setup on this one that I prefer to use is you do want to go for the extended barrel. This is going to give you the best accuracy. It's going to give you the best range as well, so you do want to go for this barrel. It's basically like the long range barrel in the game. Then for the optic, again, I go for the Fusion Hollow. Now you can go for the hybrid optic, but personally I just feel like it's a bit too weird of an optic for me. So I do just like the hollow optic. It doesn't give you as much zoom though, so if you do like the extra zoom, you can go for the hybrid optic. Plus it is a hybrid, so you can switch it out. To be fair, you can switch these attachments out mid-game anyway, so you don't need to stick to any specific weapon or any specific build at a time regardless. I would still go for the Cobra grip on this weapon to control the recoil as best as possible, and then I'll stick with the standard issue mags because those are the biggest mags on this gun, and they do kind of in between the firepower of the kind of SMG mags and the other mags, which give you more damage, which are basically the high power rounds. So you've got the close combat rounds and then you've got the high power rounds, but personally I do think the standard issue is the best option here, and that would be the best build for the M5A3. The next gun we have is the LCMG, and a quick couple of things to do with this as well. So we've got two different ammo rounds. We've got anti-material rounds, and then we've also got the standard issue rounds. Now they both have 100 round mags. Now, if you do like to shoot vehicles quite a lot with your LMG, then you can go for the anti-material rounds. Personally, I do think the standard rounds are probably going to be the best option for most people. I would go for the Cobra under grip, and then I would actually go for the, the Arcom tactical muzzle brake. I think this is the best at kind of giving you accuracy and not affecting much else of your weapon, so that's what I would go for in this case. The 6KU suppressor does suppress your weapon, so you could go for that, but personally it does reduce your firepower and you don't really need to be suppressed at those kind of ranges anyway, so I would go for the muzzle brake instead in this case. And again, I like the Fusion Hollow optic, which I do think is the best optic in the game right now that's available to us, but you can go for the more longer range optic, which is a 2.5 to X Shan optic, so you could go for that. But like I said, I just prefer the hollow because it just makes it a lot cleaner for myself. One quick tip with the LMG reloads though. So if you do reload with an LMG, so for example, the reload time on this LMG is pretty long because it should be. A quick tip is if you don't want to reload your weapon, in the Weapons Plus menu, all you need to do and switch the ammo capacity rounds, and it will do it much faster. So for example, I'm on 84 rounds on this one right here. And all I need to do is just switch to the standard issue rounds. I'll get 100 rounds in my gun straight away. The only issue with this is that if you do switch back, you will be back to the 84 rounds. But if you're in a tough gunfight and you really need to change ammo really quickly, the fastest way to do it instead of reloading your weapon is just to use the weapon plus menu and switch your magazine type. Now the next weapon we have is the DM7 marksman rifle, and in this case I would go 100% for the tactical compensator, and this is going to basically give you better firepower on your weapon, so it does more damage, and it's also going to improve your accuracy as well. I would actually go for the 2x optic in this case because you do want to be as accurate as possible with marksman rifles, plus they're semi-automatic, so it kind of makes it a bit harder to use, so you want to be making sure you're hitting your shots. Then I would actually go for the high power rounds in this case, and that is so that you don't need to land as many shots to kill opponents, plus it's only a 5 bullet difference between that and the standard issue mags. You've also got your anti-material mags as well, or your anti-material rounds for example, and that would help against vehicles, but like I said, I would definitely stick to the high power rounds in this case. And then lastly, you want to choose that Cobra grip, because the flashlight's not really going to help in any circumstances really, so as you can see it doesn't really help any of the stats of the weapon, so you definitely want to choose that Cobra grip right there, and that's going to probably be the case for most weapons unless there's way more attachments that we don't know in the game, but that is the best build for the DM7 in my opinion. So the next weapon we have is the SWS-10 Sniper Rifle, and this is the only sniper rifle in the game that's available in the beta anyway. For the optic, you do actually want to choose the M11 6x optic. It does have the cleanest kind of reticle on it, plus I do think it's a better zoom level as well at 6 times compared to the Raven optic, so that is the one I would personally go for when using this weapon. Then for the kind of muzzle or the barrel, whatever you want to call it, I would actually go for the muzzle brake. Then this is the only one that actually helps with firepower, and it actually helps with accuracy and range as well. Now it only helps a tiny bit, but to be completely honest, is the only one that actually helps. The rest don't really do much else. Then for the mags, the standard issue mags are the best. They give you the best firepower and the best accuracy. I also checked the close combat rounds, and that is because they do state that they do have less firepower and less accuracy, but they do give you slightly better handling. Now I also checked to see if the fire rate was slightly different on that one, because if it does do less damage, then does it give you kind of a faster fire rate on the weapon? And it seems like that doesn't change, so it just looks like the handling is a little bit better on that weapon, so you can move around the map a little bit quicker, and the overall handling the weapon will be a bit snappier, but again it's not massively different. Then you do want to use the Cobra grip again. The flashlight grip just seems like it doesn't really do anything for some reason in this game, which is kind of pointless, so you do want to use that Cobra grip, and that is the best build for the SWS Sniper, and this is the build I would recommend. Next up, we have the MCS 880 shotgun, and this gun, again, for the build for it, you do want to use the Fusion Hollow Optic. You could use the standard iron sights on this as a shotgun at the end of the day. The Cobra grip I would still use because, again, the flashlight doesn't do anything. When it comes to the different rounds, now, for the different rounds, you've got buckshot shells and you've got slug shells. Now, buckshot shells do this kind of like recoil pattern, so it is a lot wider. And then if you quickly change that over into these slug shells, just to make sure I've got the right one on there, it seems a little bit narrower, so this is going to give you more range like it does state, because the shells are going to be in a more compact area. So if you do want to use this kind of like, not medium range, but a little bit longer ranges than you should be using a shotgun, then I would definitely go for the slug shells. But if you're more at close quarters engagements, then definitely go for the buckshot rounds. Both do the same amount of damage anyway. It just depends on which one's going to be more accurate, which one's going to be less accurate. At closer ranges, like I said, buckshot will be the better option here. But that is the MCS 880 shotgun. Last but not least, we have the AK-24, and for the AK-24, you do want to use the standard K8 hollow optic, but as you can see here, there's way more attachments than there was on previous weapons for the optics, and that's going to go to show that there's probably going to be a lot more attachments when the full game launches that we just don't have access to right now. But like I said, I like the K8 optic. You do have the Bravo 3 times, and you've also got the hybrid 1.5 to 3 times. So it's going to be personal preference here, but I like the K8. You can't change the barrel or the muzzle or anything like that on this gun. Under barrel Cobra grip again, because it's the only one that actually helps with anything. And then lastly, we've got the mag. So you've got the standard issue, which is 31 rounds. Does a decent amount of firepower, to be completely honest. Or you've got the high power rounds, which does give you a bit extra damage, also a bit extra accuracy and a bit extra range. But you only get 21 rounds with that option. So I do choose the standard issue. I do think that's the best option for this. But that is the best class with the AK-24 in my opinion. So there we have it. Those are the best class setups for all of the weapons that are currently available to myself anyway inside the Battlefield beta. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and click that like in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel, and thank you very much for watching.